We're going to record. All right, beautiful souls. Welcome to week 7 of the Artist's Way. There's so much to unpack from this chapter, continuing conversations. I just first and foremost want to say that we are at the midpoint, and I want to see everybody who has been here the whole way through to give some jazz hands for being here from the beginning. Kim Harrison, I see you're here now. Celeste just joined. This is a celebration of you. Like, this is not the easiest book to get through. And like usually halfway through there's fatigue, and lots of people obviously are traveling. And I've gotten some messages about people who can't be here. And that happens, right? Like last week, I was not able to be here, but I just wanted to give jazz hands for all of you. Like, you're committed, you're fully committed to this journey. And it's beautiful. Listening to the conversation that Mare hosted last week is just awesome. Before going any further, great job, everybody. You're here. I should. Hey, mom, don't shit on yourself. You're not going to shit on yourself this morning. I should be committed. Nope. Especially when we're here to talk about perfectionism. We're going to be talking about jealousy. We're going to be talking about listening and the tasks. But to get things kicked off, I am going to put us into magical breakout rooms. I was waiting for somebody to come up with a 7. Kim Harrison, you're the winner. 7 on my scale, because I always say to my students when I do like a 1 to 10 scale, those that pick a 7, I'm like, nope, you can't pick a 7. You either have to go with a 6 or an 8. So, Kim Harrison, I'm going to swing that back at you. Would you say that you're more of a 6 or an 8 on the 8? Okay. And do you see how that makes a difference? Like, you're leaning a little bit more towards like, oh, maybe I am a little bit more perfectionist. And I love how our King of Spades, Queen of Hearts, Miss Atkinson immediately just says like, fuck it, I gave up on perfectionism in the 70s. It's so great. So great. Yeah, good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. Welcome to Beth Suter joining us now. So, and then mom just went the opposite, maybe a 6. Hey, girl. Okay, you're just in time. What I'm going to do is get us started in breakout rooms so we could do the check-ins. Again, we're on week 7 check-ins. And for those of you that want to look at the page where the questions, because she kind of like got a little bit um, dun, da, da, da. More juicy with the check-in questions, page 127. So these are the questions again. And Kelly Warner, my beautiful soul sister from Colombia, whoever is going to be in the group with her, you guys, awesome. I'm not sure if you have picked up the book yet, if you have, oh, you purchased it, right? When we were in Colombia. Look at you go. Look at you go. Okay. So, how many days did you do your morning pages? Have you allowed yourself to daydream a few creative risks? And are you coddling your artist child with childhood loves? That's all wrapped into that first question of the morning pages. So I like that. 2, did you do your artist date? Did you use it to take any risks? Risks is also one of the topics of this chapter. What did you do? How did it feel? Do you experience any synchronicity this week? What was it? And were there any other issues significant for your recovery? So, by the magic of Zoom, I'm going to create breakout rooms, and it's kind of perfect to have groups of 4. So we'll do that. There'll be 3 different breakout rooms of 3 to 4 people in them. And I like to give about 2 minutes per person. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 minutes. I like the number 9. So we'll do 9-minute timer to do like 2-minute check-ins, and then we'll all come back. And as usual, just like what were the big ahas that you got from them? And again, remember, like you can share inspiring artist date story. I want to remind you that the artist date is really taking your inner child out to do something fun. Okay, fun in the name of joy and fun. So maybe you'll get inspiration from other people. If you are in a rut, let me just say, welcome to week 7. Like that's just like that happens. Okay, ruts happen. Okay, so Celeste, I see that you're driving. Hopefully, you'll still be able to zoom into a room. Just hit that button and away you go. I'll see you back here in about 9 minutes. I'm going to open up those rooms and away you go. Off to Never Never Land. All right. Welcome back. Welcome back. All right, before diving into the goodness of this chapter, what kind of takeaways do you want to, anybody want to share out? Just popcorn style, if you feel inspired to share something that struck you from your smaller groups, please do.
I want to share.
Acknowledge Diane.
Okay, good.
No, me. Um, Diane, thank you for sharing that. The jealousy thing. I'll stay at that 5, and I celebrate people who get to go out. Like being a caretaker, you don't get to just go out and go to the river and go to a movie or take a walk. You're kind of stuck. So I am jealous of that, but I'm really happy that y'all can do it, right?
Yeah.
I'm not bitter about it, and I look forward to that freedom. But it's not a negative jealousy, but it's like, oh, I wish I could do that.
Yeah, because that's
Yeah.
jealousy, and we'll talk more about jealousy, but that's its purpose. It's to show you where you desire to be. And then you
Uh-huh.
with the question of like how
Oh,
what does it take for me to get there to do that? And for sure as a caretaker of your dad right now, like you have parameters.
uh-huh. Yeah.
Mm,
But it doesn't feel negative because I still celebrate
Mm.
uh that you can do that. And yeah, and it is. I never heard that it's the purpose.
Mm.
Jealousy, that's the purpose. So you know what you want.
It does have a
So
purpose.
I'll put it
If we allow
on my
it, right?
bucket list, right? Walk out the front door anytime you want.
Mhm.
That's a
No,
good
I
one.
appreciate the definition because I didn't understand what jealousy is because I don't think I feel it. But then
Uh-huh.
when I've seen it in the past, it was really negative. And so I had a distorted view of what jealousy is. And knowing that it's not a negative thing, it's not a bad thing. It's
It
just
doesn't it doesn't have to be.
right. And I appreciate the definitions that my group gave for me.
So a lot of groups you went into the jealousy during the check-ins, huh? Okay.
Came up.
It came up. Good. That's what check-ins are for. You know, you start by like, did you do your morning pages? Did you go on an artist date? And boom, you're talking about jealousy. Like,
It's an issue.
okay. Were
We
you guys all
didn't, and
in the same group or were you I
Same
think
group.
okay.
Yes.
Okay.
We were.
Okay.
jealousy didn't come up in my group, but I'm really excited to dig into this topic. And there's like so much, there's emotion here because I've experienced this for like maybe a decade, watching people who I thought were my peers go on to create one business iteration, another business iteration, another, just like evolve. And I felt so effing stuck.
Oh,
And yeah. So it's the call to like step up and I
yes.
want to integrate all of that into me so that I do, not from a berating place, but from a place of freedom. And I really just realized this week, like how much like I've said for a couple of years, all I want is access to all of my energy, all of my creative energy. Like it's in there and it's like not coming out, not in a way that pleases me enough.
Oh, okay.
So bring it, Andrea.
Hey, let's bring
I'm
it.
here.
We're gonna get into. I mean, this is a it's a powerful week, and week seven, seven is such a spiritual number as well. But like really looking at, I love kind of this coin between jealousy and what it's showing to you. Where it's like Abraham Hicks talks about the contrast. The contrast when we're so aware of what's not working, what we don't want, all the low vibe feelings that we have, or the hard stuff that we're going through. It's showing you ultimately, and jealousy is a low vibe feeling, right? I mean, we can all agree on that, right? Jazz hands if you agree that it's a low vibe feeling. Like nobody's like, you know what I really want to feel? I want to feel more jealous. It's there to show you the contrast. Like there is something in that person that is reflecting to you that which you do not have and you desire. So then the question is, what are you going to do about it? Right. And that's what we're doing here. So, Celeste, we're going to continue this conversation and looking at how a lot of what gets in our way is actually that perfectionism. It'll stop us in our tracks, right? And then, of course, fear from taking risks. Welcome to Miss Phoenix, who just joined us. I believe I see her there. There she is. Wasn't sure if you guys
Hi.
I know that you're celebrating a birthday today, so happy birthday.
Yeah, I thought when someone says first thing in the morning, I thought that meant literally like 8, but apparently we're just putting the boat together and it's 10:30.
Okay. Nice.
It's all good. So I'm like, I can zoom
Happy
in. Thank you for
birthday.
letting me come late. I appreciate it.
Of course. Always welcome. Look in the chat. Beth shared something.
And can I ask you, will you mute me if it gets loud? Because I don't see how to do that for myself.
Yeah, I can do
I'm
that.
just a beginner at this.
I have utter control. Okay, there's an article that Beth put into the chat, very relevant. Do you want to give a little
Yeah, she talks about the threshold. So she talks about this time in our lives where we feel really undone, like the things that normally feel anchoring to us just don't. And it's like almost like our soul knows we're shifting before our mind can keep up. And so it can feel like we're not going anywhere. And it's really like quiet feels uncomfortable, busyness feels uncomfortable. And so I just thought, Celeste, I don't know, maybe for me, it touches when it seems like others are maybe growing and we're not growing. And it's this idea that if we can really be comfortable with that threshold of letting go where we are and becoming into what's next, it can actually be a really beautiful gestation period. And I feel like that's where I've been this summer. And I've described it as limbo land, but the threshold was much more beautiful. And you all might enjoy her words. She just articulates things like almost like a painting, can make you feel things. Her words make you just resonate. And anyway, I hope that brings you some comfort, Celeste, because it did for me. So.
And would you say that the threshold would also be another name that a lot of people refer to as the void? Like you're in this space of, you're being called towards something greater. You know that there is more. And you don't know what it is, or you don't know how to get there. So all you can do is take the first step, Dorothy in the yellow brick road. Boom. First step. Okay. Thanks for that. Other things that came up in your small checkout rooms or your breakout groups that anybody wants to share? Going once? Going twice? Cool. So, all right, I'm going to present this. I did want to let y'all know, I'm going to send sooner rather than later something about the part dos. I hope you all saw in there that I did this silly little video I was just really inspired in Colombia. This is before the retreat even, but I sent that part dos about naming your warrior goddess and would love to invite everybody. And there will be an email with a Zoom link coming out later this week to what I'm just calling storytelling part dos. Obviously, that is about as great as my Spanish is right there.
Hey, it's better than that.
Thanks, Phoenix. Honestly, ironically, Phoenix was my crutch. I say ironically, crutch. Okay. Anyhow. Well, we'll do a little of that storytelling, but storytelling about like really continuing to develop your warrior goddess persona, because yesterday I do want to share that a couple weeks ago in the circle, we talked about the scream circle. Remember that, Beth? And I think Beth brought that idea to going to somewhere and just screaming at the top of your lungs. This happens in Seattle or something like that. But I had a particularly hard Nine of Hearts, Five of Hearts day yesterday. And I'm in a Nine of Spades week. There's been just a lot of loss and shifting, and I Went to the mountaintop yesterday, and on my way down, I was like, I just needed to pull over. And I pulled over, and I did my best just to scream at the top of my lungs because I found like such a safe space to do this. And what I ended up screaming after, like screaming didn't feel really authentic. I couldn't get the scream out, but then I just yelled, Esmeralda.
Okay.
Esmeralda, I yelled. And that is the name of my warrior goddess. And it really helps me. I'm still defining her, but I just wanted to bring us all back together. Those who have embarked on the Write Your Warrior Goddess story, the meeting of your higher self, that there's just going to be an enrichment to that next Wednesday or this coming Wednesday at 6:30. So stay tuned. If it works for you, join us there. If not, I'll probably share the recording in here. Okay, I also want to go over the basic principles again because it's been a minute and it's important. So I'm going to ask for a volunteer to read the first 5 out loud. Who is feeling brave and wants to free their voice this morning?
Yes. Yes.
I'll do it.
Thanks, Cheryl. I love it. Yeah, let's go.
Okay, principles. Number 1, creativity is the natural order of life. Life is energy, pure creative energy. 2, there is an underlying, indwelling creative force infusing all of life, including ourselves. 3, when we open ourselves to our creativity, we open ourselves to the Creator's creativity within us and our lives. 4, we are ourselves creations, and we, in turn, are meant to continue creativity by being creative ourselves. 5, creativity is God's gift to us. Using our creativity is our gift back to God.
Lovely. Oh my gosh, I can hear you. I can just have you read all day long. All right. And somebody wants to do 6 through 10 just to remind us of what the principles of what we're doing here are. Okay, I'm just going to go then. I'm going to get us moving. The refusal to be creative is self-will and is counter to our true nature. When we open ourselves to exploring our creativity, we open ourselves to God, which she describes as good orderly direction. As we open our creative channel to the Creator, many gentle but powerful changes are to be expected. And this is where that restlessness, I think, can start, right? It is safe to open ourselves up to greater and greater creativity. Our creative dreams and yearnings come from a divine source. As we move towards our dreams, we move towards our divinity. Love that. So in this week, wow, week 7, sorry for that typo. She talks about listening, perfectionism, risk, jealousy, and oh my gosh, some of my favorite tasks of all are in here. So let's get kicked off with just this idea of listening. Is there something in that jumped out for anybody that they'd like to share about listening? And I guess I would just say that part of the importance of listening is infused in the artist way, just listening to what it is that you want to do. And then when you go and do something, the idea is to be alone. I mean, you can go, I went to yoga on the mountain yesterday. So I went somewhere, I wasn't alone, but I went alone to be in this space. But the importance of the solitude is interweaved with listening. What comes up when you guys listen? How often do you listen? How much silence is in your life?
Can I just share that I love when she talked about when we're trying to think something and when we receive something. That really resonated with me because I feel like when I have maybe a good thought or an intuitive thought or a wise thought or a really fun idea, I do feel like it's given to me. And I feel like when I'm trying to like plan something, especially like work related, and I'm trying too hard, it's me. It's like my small ego me. So that's the difference for listening for me. It does feel like receiving when the thoughts are exciting, gentle, inspirational, all of those things.
listening to those messages. You're right. And that song Try, like kicking it off with that song, I often think about Yoda, do or do not, there is no try. But try. Like you don't have to try so hard, like at everything. Obviously, she's talking about physical appearances, but also in the work. You're in our creative work, right? Listening to the voice of inspiration, excitement, and joy, and making space so we can hear.
Yeah, in the book, she just says when a painter is painting, he or she may begin with a plan, but the plan soon surrendered to the painting's own plan. And that really resonated with me too. And that we start with a plan, that's kind of our thinking, but then we listen and the plan shifts and develops.
Exactly. And so if we're listening and removing our beautiful ego, right? That's what allows the flow and the joy to keep being like, oh, I thought it was going to be this way, rather than holding on to a rigid concept or thought like this is how it's supposed to be when truly maybe it's supposed to go in a different direction. It was the spark to get you started and excited, and then you go on somewhere else. More on listening.
I like the part where listening is a form of accepting. That's a big deal for me this year because I was with one of my wise friends and I said something about tolerance because I think it's such a great thing. And she said, well, tolerance is one thing, but accepting is even a greater level of spirituality, which I loved and I needed because tolerance seems like you're biting it's not the best word and I didn't know another word for it. And so all of us want a form of accepting with ourselves, but one of the greatest gifts you can give to others, which I do at work, is just listening. And so listening is a form of acceptance. I just love that. And I'm going to keep that with me continuing on this year with that quote. It's kind of a mantra.
Yeah. And that just what you were just saying, there's something about the listening that there's a part two to it that Phoenix has brought up to me before, which is you can listen and heeding the advice that you're hearing. Totally different. Are you doing that?
I have something I heard a long time ago, and I used this with my son when he was home, but listening when you're not really listening to someone, I'm paraphrasing this badly, but you're not really listening to someone unless your mind is open enough to be changed. And when I would have a conversation with my son, or he would have a conversation with me, I'd say, are we really listening to each other? Are we really open-minded enough? Or are we just arguing our platform, our stage? And it changed my interpersonal communication when I think about that. I catch myself. Am I listening to argue and defend my position, or am I listening with an open enough mind to be willing to change my position on whatever that is?
That's a good one. I've never heard that before, but that active listening is listening with the willingness to change your own perception. Wow. Okay. How's that resonate with y'all?
That's a big one.
Does that bring up some perfectionist issues of like, but
or judgment, It's like, but my side is right. I know it. And that's not listening.
Yeah.
If you think you're right, if you think your platform or your opinion is correct, you can't hear what the other person's saying. Thank you, Cam.
It's one of the greatest things that I learned with my grandkids as they're growing and changing and having their own ideas and opinions. Listening to them and thinking, oh, wow, well, my stuck in the mud kind of ideas are pretty, I don't know, but it just opened up this whole beautiful world of, oh, wow, yeah, that's really cool. And it's really amazing to see other people's lives and ideas. And I'm seeing Mare right now. And it's so cool because it just, I don't know, I think it helps you love more sincerely when you listen like that.
Yeah, and this chapter is called Recovering a Sense of Connection. So in that connection, there's two ways, and also with listening, there's two ways, because what Mare just put into the chat is an interesting perspective on listening, I spent too much time listening to others, but I'm now listening to my intuition first. So there's connecting to community, to people, to, I mean, that's, we live in a
That's
world
good.
where we communicate with others, but there's also connecting to our inner source, the highest version of ourselves, right? Our warrior goddess, our king, our queen on the inside. And so all of that comes down to like that same thing. Like, are you listening with an open mind and listening to your intuition? A lot of people like wonder like, well, what do I know? Is it my ego talking or is it divine source talking? And that's where I would say check in with how you feel. How does it feel in your body? Where is it resonating? Can we talk about perfectionism? I have so much highlighted in this section.
Me too.
I would like to say hello. My name is Andrea Blythe. I am a recovering perfectionist. Welcome to our 7th meeting of perfectionism. But perfectionism.
Welcome, Andrea.
What's that?
I think it's someone's
Welcome,
background.
Andrea.
Thank
Oh.
you. Thank you. Yes, I don't know.
Oh.
But perfection, she says, in reality, it is egotism. It is pride. It is our humanness intercepting our divinity and what we're trying to do. And then it allows fear in, and it allows all this other stuff and all the reasons, all the blocks, all the reasons we can't do the thing is so enmeshed with this idea that is very well supported in the school system and in our society about perfection, in world religion or religion as well. Like, right? Like that a 4-year-old should sit still in a pew and listen to somebody drone on from a pulpit and read from an old book, like that you're supposed to be a certain way, do a certain thing, act a certain way. All of that creates this idea, and we can be wrapped in safety around like trying to look a certain way. So again, back to that opening video of just like, you don't have to try so hard. You don't have to try so hard. Just embrace the joy, embrace the chaos, the risk taking. The Bull Durham quote that I put in there has, I mean, because perfectionism and risk are going to go, I'm about to get off my soapbox, but they go hand in hand. And from the movie Raging Bull, he says, so do it. If you win, you win. And if you lose, you win. Like that is just like mic drop for me. Like in terms of, you don't have to do anything perfectly. Just give it a try. Just do something. From cooking in the kitchen to making a painting to writing a story to creating a workshop to leading a yoga class. Just do it. Just do it. This is where like somebody else will like pop in and share something that's come up for them. I'm off of my soapbox.
It's usually Mare, but I'm trying really hard to like let you people say stuff because I'm always, oh, but no.
All right, 10, it's
I'm
your
practicing.
turn.
I'm listening. Okay. I'm gonna say the perfectionism, the egotism. I was showing with my group that on every page in here, I've got egotism written everywhere in this chapter because it's ego is edging God or goddess out. And then when she gave the description of God, that was even more so like, okay, now I get, yeah. I don't know where I'm going, but that was really it. And I really like the perfectionism. Was it the perfectionist calls humility? It's reality. It is in reality, it is egotism. That I had on a post-it forever over on my wall, but it must have blown off. But my egotism was preventing me from doing my podcast for a long time, for a long, long time,
Yes.
until that little one over there came into my life, and she's like, "Just do it, Mare. Just do it, Mare. Just do it, Mare." And now I'm just doing it, Mare, and it has actually made more sense as I go because I'm in alignment with my higher power, and I'm in alignment with my divine feminine for the first time in my entire life. And so now if people don't want to watch, they don't have to watch. If people want to watch, great. I'm not doing it for anybody. I'm doing it for, it feels like it's something I'm supposed to do for the light workers. And that's all I don't care about anything else. I just want to get all of us out there in that realm where we're raising up the vibration and we're helping one another. And so before it was like, well, who wants to listen to me? And it's so nice. They're not. I don't care if they're listening to me. They're listening to the people I bring on. And that just is lovely. But I think the egotism, that's all I have to say about that because I don't remember where the hell I was going. So whatever. I'm trying to fill in the space.
I am so glad you're doing it. You are, and that's the point. It's like just start. Start. You got to start somewhere if you're feeling the call. Otherwise, you are you're caging yourself. When she says perfectionism is not a quest for the best, it is a pursuit of the worst in ourselves. I'm going to say that again. It is the pursuit of the worst in ourselves. The part that tells us that nothing we do will ever be good enough, that we should try again. And that's where so many people get stuck, that who am I? That question, who am I to complete the statement, right? Who are you not to?
I like the part where they said it's because that's just my whole life is it's the perfectionism is the logic side of the brain, which to me feels very masculine. And I've been with men my whole life, raising men, treating men, married to men, and so I'm very in touch with the masculine side. So as I go into the feminine side, it's the other side of the brain, the creative, the vulnerable, the receiving, the creative. It just feels creative. And so as I put makeup on women's faces, I'm like, this is an unfinished picture. And then you're going to try this side. And then I'm going to do this side. And there's this whole listening and interaction that's very feminine. And then we see the finished picture we have to see it in natural light, not in the other kind of light. So it's a whole perception of just let's keep going because it's an unfinished picture. And it helps them because so many women beat up on themselves and they just feel so ugly. And then when you look in their natural light, they can see their natural beauty. And it's just this beautiful work that I do now. And it's like not my natural state of things. It's just I love the fact of it's not the logic side of the brain because that's where the numbers are, which I love. That's where the definitive answers are. That's where, if you do all the things in the right order that we can there's a formula. My whole life has been that, and I do love that, and I feel safe in that. The other side is unknown, and you have to stay open. And your heart has to be open and you have to wait for the finished picture whenever it happens. It could be a lifetime. So I do love not knowing that logic side of the brain is not your best friend. There's a balance to that.
Right. Which leads to risk, right? Like whenever you're letting go of perfectionism, you're taking a risk of how's this going to be perceived by myself first, by others? What are people going to, what are people going to think of that?
I have a thought I just want to throw out. Perfectionism sounds a little bit like jealousy. There is also there's two sides of that coin. Do you
Keep
know?
going. Yes.
Well, it's just kind of coming to me, but I was thinking about how I rated myself an 8 or a 7 and now an 8 on the scale because I've been asking myself about where's perfectionism coming in? And I've moved so far. I'm a little bit like Lisa. I think I have I don't give a F button that I've just pushed and I don't really know. I'm not really trying to be perfect, but I can get perfect in my imperfectionism. Do you know? Perfect is one of those things that's sneaky like jealousy. Like I think it's something that is an indicator of where we are. It's another boundary, right? It's another thing that pushes up against us. Like I'm holding a line on this. This has to be perfect. Just like Mare found out, I have to be perfect on this before I can do it. Well, that's your line. Okay, so why do I have to be perfect? And it's a place of question. What am I afraid of? What's my challenge here? What am I afraid will happen if I do this? And as she mentioned so eloquently, she found out it wasn't about her. It was about the people she wanted to serve. And then she found her alignment. But if she hadn't bumped up against her perfectionism, she would have never seen that, So I think it's a boundary. And it has a beautiful side if we allow it to answer to us, just like jealousy.
Hmm. Totally. Totally. Like, because I think part of that, what you're saying, like it's there could be a fear of what other people are going to think, what they're going to say. And then there's also like these standards. It's like, I want to put something out that feels really authentic, that feels like I'm proud of it. So, but we got to be aware of like how much we're feeding that. Like how perfect does it have to be, or is it can it be good enough? Just
Well,
good.
and it's not, to me, it's not just about the doing, it's about the being, about the perfect being, not just what
Mhm.
I'm putting out there, not just what I'm doing, not my physicalness, but my perfect being. Am I in alignment? Is this a good thought? I mean, I can get perfect in my mind. Like, am I aligning with my higher self? Am I listening to my higher self enough? Am I spending too much time alone? Am I spending too much time with people? Like, I can judge my own inner world and be very perfectionist about it, you
Mm.
know, not just about the physical products I put out. And to me, that's a little different. And that's where I just wanted to throw that out because perfectionism is to me just another thing that we can assess, because perfect is not necessarily a bad word. You can be perfectly imperfect. I don't think perfect has I don't know.
But
What is perfect, you know? And as perfect is in the eye of the beholder, right? Am I perfect to me or perfect to you? My perfection may not look good to you, but it might look great to me. It's a really weird word to me that
perfection. Yeah. Yeah.
I would love to hear
Please.
I would love to hear anyone, your Andrea, or anybody's like balance between like perfectionism, being stuck, and complacency. I think I'm moving through this to where I'm putting things out and like the breathwork programs and they're I love them because I love the response that people have. But as far as like digital products or other things, I get really stuck. And so I have I think because I want to flow in my feminine. It's also like there's just some unraveling that complacency and feminine, like it needing to be flowy and free, and then just getting stuck because it's not perfect and the way that I envision that it should look because I'm capable of.
Okay. I have
Anybody?
I have thoughts, but I'm going to give space for some other thoughts first to come through.
Thank you for letting me ask.
I'm going to chime in here.
Hey.
One thought. So this is like past life for me, a little bit. Celeste, is it Celeste?
Celeste, yeah.
Where it was like, what do you have to lose? You just like stick it out there. There's nothing you have to lose or gain by just going and keeping. And so past life for me was talking to large companies about tolerance of people's paychecks. And the payroll department would say, we don't make any mistakes. And I was like, bullshit. You may not deliver an incorrect paycheck. However, you've adjusted it before you went out. And what is 2 cents or 3 cents to somebody? So what's the tolerance that you have within that for yourself? And sometimes you just got to push the project and say, we're going to go and we're going to be able to update next time. Like whoop-de ding dong, just move it out, because otherwise you're never going to get it off the ground.
Yeah.
So there's a margin of error that you allow for, right?
Yeah, and who cares? And if it's 2, if it's 4, if it's whatever, what's your personal talent? But just go, just jump.
Yes.
I have something to say, and that I've said to my students is we know more in our areas of expertise than most people. So basically you are an expert before you even put it out because you've done your studies and you already know what you know. And most of us don't know about breath work, or most of us don't know about that. So anything that you know more than us, so you're the expert. So put it out there because it is valuable. When you hold it within yourself, I don't get to know about breath work. And so You know more than most of us, and always know that because you did the work to understand this part of this skill set that you have. And there's many more that are going to go into that, but you do have that wherever you're at with that. You know more than us. So put it out there, and then you'll get the feedback, which is always a positive thing to receive as to how to tweak it as you go along way. So thank you, Kelly, for that, because I do that with women. It's just like we have to just do it, and we have to make mistakes. And again, I apologize later because I had to run a whole beauty lab for a month. And yeah, I made some executive decisions, and I that was my best. It was not perfect.
Right. Right. I think there's also a component of patience with ourselves during it, because I know for myself, like I have such a vision for what I'm creating, and I have to be really aware of what I call my pressure cooker that I put myself in. Because and I'm kind of wondering if this is resonating with you, Celeste, of this idea like you have so much you want to share, and you know the gifts that you have and the beauty of what you can create, and it can feel overwhelming to do like to step into that masculine side of what's the next thing that needs to be created so that I have the container that where people can attend my breathwork classes or learn more from me or engage more with me. And it's just like one step at a time. Again, like that yellow brick road is not you don't see the Emerald City from that first step. You just take the next step and the next step and the next step, and fear will show up when you are on the brink of something really great, or you're putting something out there. And I mean, I can't tell you the number of times I put something out there and the participants that has shown up is my mom. One person came to my class, but it doesn't matter because I'm showing myself that I'm going to practice this. My mom is here and I am here. Kim Harrison, you've been with me from the very onset of like just creating moon circles when I took my leap of faith and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And sometimes there would be one or two, sometimes there would be no one there. And then I would just sit and question or deliver it still. Like I know that what I'm doing, I don't know what it all is yet, but I'm actively going to unfold that onion, right? To get but the important part is, yes, the creative flow and all of that, that's fun, but then it's got to be matched with an action step, and that's the risk. And perfectionism cannot be there when you're ready to take the risk, because work that I mean, I could look back at videos that I put out and I will say the same thing a year from now. I'll be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. Who fucking cares? Like really, everybody is so busy in doing their own stuff. Like sometimes like, oh, nobody saw that video. Oh, that's great because it was a shitty video, maybe. Like nobody saw it. But I still did it and I still practiced how I was going to say it. So just taking the steps and being patient with yourself and listening to your body's response. Like, am I still creating from a place of joy? Like sometimes, we have to do the actual work, like, technology. Y'all know how I feel about technology. Sometimes it's just like that. And there are parts of it that like, that's also what is making this possible for us to all be zooming in from different parts of the world right now. Right? Like it's amazing too.
Yeah.
I
So
also think a lot of people actually, I think we ourselves want to be perfect, but we appreciate imperfectionism. So I think authenticity, I love it when I see people make a mistake in the sense of, and then they keep going. And it's like, oh, I just appreciate it so much because that is life. And
That feels like art,
yeah.
doesn't it?
that
It feels like
Okay.
art. I totally didn't mean to interrupt. Please
Oh,
go.
no,
But when
you're
you're
fine.
watching someone perform and they make a mistake, you're in the process with them and you're like celebrating how they recovered.
Yes,
Um,
it
Absolutely.
is art. That is
Mhm.
art.
Yeah. And I love watching, especially with like entrepreneurs and then seeing how they
Yeah.
manage. And it's like, wow, I've seen some women in very big rooms, virtual rooms too, but have these problems go on where like they lose the internet or I don't know, just some crazy weird thing happens. And then to watch how they walk through that, it makes them so human. And it makes me feel like, oh, this is somebody I can trust. And also,
Right.
oh, I can allow myself to have these problems. And anyway.
Yeah, I think on social media, starting at age 60, me all of a sudden being on social media with as an entrepreneur, we made the mistake of trying to do a live when our boss was gone, and we just didn't know how to turn it off. So and we got in trouble, and someone complained, and I'm like, we're in the arena. You're
Yes.
in Sands, go away. And they thought it was funny, and we got more likes because they're like, they're 60-year-olds trying to do stuff out there, so good for them. And I make more mistakes almost intentionally so that people can just see the humanity of it, of an older plus size girl doing something out there. And I'm actually embracing and making sure I do some awkward social media stuff because people do love it, and I don't mind doing it.
I love that. I love that. It
Yeah.
made me think of how Mare says one of her favorite parts when I do a live, or one of Phil's favorite parts is when I'm always like, okay, how does this stop? Have I stopped it? Like because yeah, and then you're like, oh shit, this is live.
I don't know what I said. I don't know what happened. Maybe there was music on. I never got to see it, but I sure heard about it.
Oh, wow. But isn't that great? And isn't that divinely done as well? Like if you're getting some negative feedback, you're creating a ruckus. You're being seen, you're being heard. And
Yes.
yeah, you're taking a risk. And then you probably learn from that, right? Because that's the other thing. It's like only when you're in it, like in the arena. I love that you use that. That's from Brene Brown. I put The Gift of Imperfection. If you haven't read it, please read it. It's such a powerful read. But like it is so easy to stand on the sidelines and judge people. And a lot of people do that. And that's where the jealousy, like people who are judging, it's because they're seeing you do something that they wish that they were doing. They have something that somewhere in you, you're like, oh, I would really like to have that. And that's okay. I want to say it is okay to desire something more for yourself. If you don't desire more for yourself, Kim put in the chat, I'm not afraid of being perfect. I'm afraid of being complacent.
I love this conversation because Celeste brought up complacence, and it helped me to understand it. That's my word when people say, what do you fear most? I'm like, complacency. Like that's the thing that just like, I do not want to be that. And so perfectionism actually gives me even though I know I don't look to strive to reach perfectionism, but I look to perfectionism as something to work towards. So it motivates me. Perfectionism motivates me. I don't let it stop me and be my fear, because complacency is what fears me. So actually trying to be better, trying to be perfect, trying to be better than I was today, using the gift of perfection allows me to stay and take risks, jump in the arena. So I see it differently, and maybe it's because I've done some of that work with Brene Brown. You brought her up, and I'm like, I've read that book. I've done that. That's in my bank, And I see it as a gift. I see it as something that says, this is where I'm going. I want to be that. I'm not going to let it stop me because I fear complacency more. And because I fear complacency more, I can't stay here because I'm complacent. I'm stuck. I'm not moving forward, and I know I want to go here. So let's learn to get perfect, and let's get brave. Let's take the risks. Let's do these little walks that Lisa does that are just so, I love when you do that stuff. That's beautiful. You just inspire me so much. And Andy, you put out some amazing stuff, and you told me yourself that it's just like, I'm just not afraid to do it. I just do it, and I put it out there. And that allows us to, that motivates me to keep moving. So I look at these different.
What it just like I just made that connection for what you're saying. It gives you those hours of mastery, that perfectionism. Like I'm like, how does driving with perfectionism like help you?
Yeah, you need like 10,000 hours. Yeah,
that's it.
Mastery. Yes, and so you put them in, and so looking at that I can't think whose work that is right now.
10,000 hours.
It's not clear, but it's not. But anyway, I'll find it and I'll share it with you guys if you want to know. But yeah, you have to put in the 10,000 hours of mastery to become an expert at anything on whatever you want to do, including when we work on ourselves, we put in way more hours than that. But yeah, exactly. So to me, that's how I use perfectionism, and but I love the conversation. This is great because we've unraveled jealousy in here. We've unraveled this perfectionism and how we can use it to our value instead of having it keep us stuck. And we've also moved into risk, how risk can support us into being our authentic selves and bringing forth our art into the world, because it's all art. Even our perfectionism is art. We're choosing how we're sharing it, right? We can stay stuck in it and not paint again because it didn't work out to the plan. Or we can say, oh, I got, I feel like I take my canvas and go, I feel a little stuck. Whew, I stick that on the side of the wall and bring out another one and I start again. Because I want to keep moving forward. Complacency is much more fearful, much more of a dreaded state of being than perfectionism to me.
Yeah. Beautiful like wrap up. It's 11:06. I would love to just go through these tasks really quickly. Just if you haven't read the task, because I honestly, and you might feel differently, please share. But for me, these are such inspiring tasks. So again, if you haven't done them, like I love what you were saying last week about I was so like in my perfectionist mode that I did every single task every single week. And it's like, okay, yes, if that works for you, great, go for it. And if not, that's fine. You can always do it the next week if something calls to you. But there's the mantra, treating myself like a precious object will make me strong. I would just change that mantra if you are going to do that to treating myself like a precious object makes present tense makes me strong. We'll keep it in the future, but just playing with that mantra, that's one. Of course, I starred number 2, which is give yourself a time out to listen one side of an album. You remember that?
I did that.
Behind me, all my albums, like one side of an album. And if you don't have access to a record player anymore, go to your favorite listening platform and pick an album and just listen, not artists like it, not a playlist, but an album. But she goes on, like you may want to doodle as you listen, draw shapes, emotions, thoughts. Notice how 20 minutes, that's one side of an album usually, can be like a mini artist date. So I love this. I haven't done it. I think I will probably today. I love the task 3, sacred space. Did anybody do that? Find their own sacred space this week? I see a couple of nodding heads. If you nodded your head, could you share what your sacred space might have been?
My sacred space was a library. Literally just sitting in the library and reading a little about sacred geometry, which was really cool. But just sitting amongst the books. It was quiet. It was beautiful. I loved it.
Perfect example. Right? Sacred space doesn't have to be Notre Dame Cathedral. For me, I think I found that inadvertently with that place where I did my yell screaming yesterday on the way home from the mountain. It was just this beautiful place. And I know I will go back to it, but where I was like literally screaming and crying and then singing and dancing. But it's just to be in a space where, for wonder. A wonderful smell in your house, everything from incense to cooking something and it's a rainy day in Boise, like great day to light a candle, just do something. I love number 5. Did anybody do this? Wear your favorite item of clothing for no special occasion.
I learned how to do makeup lessons for women. So I received a belt with all my brushes and I just walked around with it at work for 8 hours because I loved wearing my makeup belt and I put it on and I just wore it and I didn't have any makeup clients. I just loved it.
Perfect. Anybody else? Do you have like a favorite article of clothing that you wear that's just like, oh, I feel so good in this? Maybe as you get dressed tomorrow, let this be a fun task. And nobody needs to know. Even if you're going to the dog park. Why not? If it feels good, it feels good. 6 is buy yourself a wonderful pair of socks or gloves, something self-loving. If that's in your budget, go for it. A collage, the 20-minute collage was kind of like vision board, such a great thing. Ooh, 5 favorite films. Do you see the common denominator in any of them?
Oh,
Um, and then name your favorite topics to read about, and then give your collage a place of honor in your home. So just a lot of like, there was less like excavating, like for me, that's how these tasks felt, like a little bit more playful, a little bit more like, just do it. Like, and part of that is like, take the risk. Just do it. Take yourself to a sacred space. Wear that article of clothing. Create a collage. Think about your favorite films. Yeah. Okay. Anybody want to share anything about one of the tasks, like how it resonated with you, how it played out?
I did the collage and I didn't put the glue on it yet, but it was just beautiful. It was just a beautiful thing. I'm just glad I had some magazines. It's hard to find magazines these days.
Right.
Yes. I could only find one magazine. But I did light some Palo Santo wood this week, and that made my home feel just wonderful.
Oh, I love that smell.
Oh,
Beautiful.
and it's beautiful wood too.
Mm.
Mm.
I have some right in front of me.
I'm
Lovely.
gonna say from last year we did the treating myself like a precious object will make me strong. Andrew, hi mom, 1111. That vision board my grandchildren took out of my closet. It's now in they have their own room, but they have this shared little loft space where they do their homework and art and crafts. So they put that up there because it's basically, it was something I watercolored around and I played with a lot of different font and I loved it, but it just wasn't anything I'd put out here in that studio. And then they took it. And so I love that that's a mantra that they see every day now because of this kind of group, because of Julie Cameron, because of the women in our lives. And I just, for little women, knowing that they read that at some point every day, it's pretty, yeah, I love that. So I'm grateful for that.
Awesome.
I
Awesome.
threw out all my underwear and bought myself new knickers.
Yes.
Yay for the knickers.
Like
All the
10
waterfall
pairs.
possibilities.
I hope
All
she
the
got all the
water-
G-string knickers.
Of course. Is there any other kind?
I knew it. I knew you were a G-string girl. I knew
Is that
it.
what you played in the
Go, girl.
park in, Cheryl? Your
How did I know
G-string?
that?
Wow, that's a whole new. Mhm.
Oh, I love that. Some new dancing in the fountain knickers.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. I know how Beth has something to ask
Yeah.
about.
Yes. I will turn it over. Beth wants
Oh,
to.
is that okay?
Yeah.
So there's a cacao ceremony that was going on. This gal that I met her, I think maybe back in February, January, and some in the other book club, some of you knew that I was going for the first time. So I don't know how many of you are like have ever done one, but I know people in here were interested to know about it. So she was going to do a pop-up, I think today actually, and asked me if I wanted to come. And I said, well, I can't come. But then I said, how many people would you need to be able to do one maybe in the park here in Boise? And she said if she could get 5 guaranteed people, she would be willing to. It wouldn't have to be a private event, it could still be public. But I didn't know if any of you in here that are in Boise would be interested in going to a cacao ceremony like in our group. And if you were, I could let her know. And then I think it's like $35. But it's really powerful. So has anybody done one? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yes.
But I can't today, but I'm interested in the future.
Okay. So I don't know. So, and I don't also know if like weekends are better for people or evenings are better for people, but she said if we could get 5 commitments that it was something we could do. And I just thought that would be fun for our group.
I'm gonna just be vulnerable, honest, or whatever, transparent, and share that I've done a lot of cacao ceremonies with Christina Jenkins, and I'm currently Phoenix and I are talking with her right now about creating a ceremony for the Warrior Goddess Gala, which stay tuned, there will be more information coming soon. So my only hesitation is like towards my This is interesting that with like jealousy is coming up, like loyalty towards like a beautiful person who I know and I love her cacao ceremonies, and taking a risk maybe and trying a cacao ceremony with somebody else. I don't know why I needed to share that. I'm just sharing that that is what's come up for me, like kind of feeling a protectiveness over this beautiful soul who I typically do my ceremonies with. And that being said, like I'm open. What is
There's room for everybody.
there is room for everybody, and that's literally the part of the jealousy uh thing that I that I underline on page 124. There's room for all of us. So interesting.
I could see it like as, I like to take watercolor lessons from a particular artist, but I also will take it from others too.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
you know,
I'm just sharing like verbally
No,
processing that
yeah,
as you were saying that, I was getting resistant and like protective over Christina for some reason.
Isn't that interesting? That's another, that's that insidious scarcity that keeps coming.
Yes.
It's like, and there's fear around, and that is a great thing because it gives, and because we're aware of it, now you can go, okay, where's that coming from? What's that about? And we can all do that because I got, where I went to is like, I like to do my own private cacao ceremonies. So I'm like, and I've done group, but I've also done private. And I'm like, I'm really attached to doing it by myself in front of my own fire with my own cacao and having my own ceremony. So I'm like, what? And I was like, no, I'm not going. But then I'm like, well, why aren't you going? It's a question. It's a push. It's to say, well, do I want to expand or do I not want to expand? It fits perfectly.
Right.
Isn't that funny? It brings that up.
Every opportunity is an opportunity to expand, but it's also an opportunity to contract. And just flowing with that freedom of that keeps us out of all of those things.
Right.
Jealousy, risk, all that's just a boundary. I love it. This is so good. This is so
We
good.
have 800,000 people in the Treasure Valley. There is enough to go around.
There's at least 5 that want to go on to this cacao.
right. I need
There's
4.
a million.
I'll get 4.
So Blythe,
So speaking for myself, WTF is a cacao ceremony. Guess who's
We're
never
gonna
been
take
to
a
one?
cow.
Guess who doesn't know? A cow moo not.
Yeah. Fine.
Cacao is like it is the cocoa seed, the chocolate in its purest form. It's very it's not at all sweetened, but it is a heart opener. It is considered to be one of the most like healthy, nutrient rich, and really connecting our body mind connection. But just allows I feel like that's the intro to it. Anybody else have a different or want to take the baton and elaborate on a cacao ceremony? It's basically unsweetened chocolate that you sip.
Unsweetened chocolate you sip. Yep.
So you do get to eat chocolate?
You drink.
You drink it.
usually are
You
drinking.
drink unsweetened chocolate.
When you can add sweeteners to it, I'm sure Beth can speak to the one that she went to with this lady. But I it's and then there's a ceremony around it, setting intentions or whatever who leads it can do it. When I do my own personal ones, once I got some really good cacao I chose to do myself, I set my intentions and go out to I always do it in front of a fire. That feels right to me. And I do it in front, I drink it with and infuse that energy into my body. And I usually do it around the moon cycles. So that feels right to me. But I've also, anytime I'm involved, I participate in one, but I've never actually like done it like Beth is thinking of doing it. But that's something I'm open to. Maybe maybe that actually is an artist date, even though it's not, even though it's a group.
Field trip.
Or just an artist celebration.
An artist celebration outside of because all my artist dates, I live alone, so an artist date might be something outside of something. So, but I'm curious now because I'm pushing myself towards it. So.
So
I'm interested. How's that?
Yeah, sorry, it was raining and all my family's home, so I'm like moving myself.
I thought you were on a treadmill.
I can just tell you it was the first one I had ever done, the only one I'd ever done. Her name is Shayna, and she actually the one she did, it was her, she did it with another another woman that kind of also integrated breath work with it. But the way that she had done it is she did explain to us kind of what cacao is and the history of the one in which we were drinking. And then it was very much just a mindfulness practice. Like she came around and poured it into our cups and we stood there and like so nice to just hold it in my hands and to smell it. So a lot of it for me, it was like coming into the body, the presence. I think she had us set an intention and then she went through the chakras and asked a question to us, and then we would sip it, and then we would think about it, and then it just moved it all the way, like I don't know, or maybe we went from, I don't know if we went top down or up to the top, but it was, and then it was just we did a short share afterwards and a short dance, and I just see it as fun. Like if you're a bit curious, because I didn't know what I was signing up for, and I just wanted to throw it out to the group. So.
Thank you. Thank you. So I would say that you have a green light
Thank you.
to move forward and get some more information. Like just pick, like it almost when you're dealing with this many people, like if you build it, they will come. Like pick a date and a time, and there you go. Yeah. Well, awesome. I love coming together on Sunday mornings with you all. Just as a reminder for those of you that want the midweek support, there is the Marco Polo app where you can just check in, ask questions, share a little something. And other than that, next week is week 8, recovering a sense of strength. So wishing you strength and courage as you embrace the next chapter, and look forward to seeing you same time, same place next week. Have a beautiful week, everyone.
Bye, all. Love you.
Hi, thank you.
Bye, everybody.